Listen carefully. You don't become a monster by accident. You become one by surviving everything they said would break you. They told me to be kind, to be gentle, to keep my voice low, to bury my anger, to suppress the fire. But what they really meant was, be small, be silent, be harmless. Because the world is terrified of someone who refuses to break. I didn't always welcome the monsters inside me. There was a time I feared them. There was a time I wore a mask so tight it almost suffocated the very soul underneath it. I smiled when I was shattered. I laughed when I wanted to scream. I played the role they wanted, so I wouldn't scare them, so I wouldn't remind them that I was hurting. But you can't bury the truth forever. You can't drown rage without eventually being pulled under with it. And I got tired of pretending. This is not a story of weakness turned soft redemption. This is a story of ashes turned to armor, of fire turned to force, of monsters not slain, but embraced. They say time heals all wounds, but they never talk about what happens while you're bleeding. When you're sitting in silence, with no one checking in. When betrayal feels louder than any scream you could muster. When you watch people walk away like your pain was inconvenient. Time didn't heal me. Pain did. I was shattered, not once, not twice, but every time I dared to believe in something. Every time I reached out. Every time I let someone in. And they tore through me like I was a stepping stone. They took pieces of me and never looked back. And I let them. Until one day there was nothing left but echoes. Echoes of what I used to be. But silence teaches you more than noise ever could. It reveals who you are when no one's clapping, when no one's watching, when no one's saving you. And I met something in that silence, something they told me to fear. The monster. But let me tell you something most people won't. That monster, it looked a lot like me. Only it wasn't crying. It wasn't broken. It wasn't begging. It was standing. Bleeding, yes. Burning, yes. But standing. Transformation doesn't happen with the lights on. It happens in the dark, when you've been left too long in your own mind, when pain is no longer a visitor, but a resident, when you run out of people to blame, and the only thing left to face is your own reflection. So I made a choice. not to heal, not to move on, but to rise, not despite the darkness, but because of it. I stopped apologizing for my anger. I stopped hiding my scars. I stopped playing the victim in a story that wasn't mine anymore. They wrote the betrayal, but I wrote the ending. I welcomed the monsters inside me. They weren't mindless. They weren't chaotic. They weren't evil. They were me. The parts I was told to bury. The rage from being unheard. The fury from being underestimated. The silence that turned into screams no one heard. I forged them into weapons. Not to destroy others, but to protect myself. Because when you've been broken enough times, you learn that survival is an art, and pain is the brush. You think scars make you weak. No, they're proof you survived the war. You think anger is ugly. It's only ugly to those who benefited from your silence. You think monsters should be slain. I say they should be crowned. Because here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Your light will inspire many, but your darkness, that will terrify the ones who tried to control you. And they should be terrified, because I no longer beg. I no longer crawl. I rise. Every time they pushed me down, I got back up sharper. Not harder, sharper, wiser, colder. That's what they never expected. They thought pain would paralyze me. But pain became my teacher, my ally, my forge. They ask why I'm not the same anymore. They say I've changed, that I'm not soft like I used to be. And they're right. I'm not. Because softness was used against me. Kindness was manipulated. Love was weaponized. My silence was mistaken for submission, so I stopped waiting to be rescued. I stopped hoping for apologies that would never come. I stopped bleeding for people who wouldn't even offer a bandage, and in that space, I changed. I evolved. The monster is not chaos. It's precision, it's control, it's every calculated move I make now, every decision I take without seeking validation, every wall I build not to shut people out, but to keep myself intact. You see, there's a freedom in no longer needing to be understood. There's power in walking away without explaining yourself. There's victory in not reacting. I don't want revenge. I want indifference. I want to be so focused on my growth that the ones who tried to break me don't even recognize the force I've become. And if they do, good. Let them feel it. Let them realize they didn't bury me. They planted me. They created this with every lie. With every betrayal, with every moment they laughed while I bled, I owe them nothing. No closure, no forgiveness, no seat at my table, because when I was crawling through hell, they watched. Some even smiled. Now I walk through fire like I was born in it, because I am. This isn't vengeance. This is evolution. This is survival. This is what happens when you embrace every shadow, every scream, every rage-filled heartbeat, and make peace with the monsters inside you. I don't shrink, I don't whisper. I walk boldly, with every scar visible, with every truth sharp enough to cut, because I am not afraid of being too much. I'm afraid of ever being that small again. So no, I won't calm down. I won't be soft. I won't dilute my strength to make others comfortable. I'll burn if I have to. I'll bleed if I must, but I'll never be broken again. To those still trying to find peace through silence, I say this: peace doesn't come by ignoring the storm. It comes by walking into it and realizing you are the storm. You are not what they did to you. You are what you choose to become from it. And if that means becoming the monster they tried to silence, then roar. Stand, rise, because you don't have to be saved. You just have to stop saving everyone else. I welcome the monsters inside me, because they were never the enemy. They were the warriors, the protectors, the parts of me that refused to die. They didn't break me, they built me. And now, I no longer fear the darkness. I command it. I don't just survive, I dominate. I don't chase light. I am the fire. I am not the victim. I am the weapon. I don't run from my past. I wear it like armor. So that the next time you hear the word monster, think of me. Not broken, not bitter, just reborn.